Good morning, folks. Let's just give everyone a little moment or two to join in. So today's yoga session is focused on breathing and in particular opening up the whole chest and shoulder area. So grab yourself a mat, and if you have some form of stretchy resistance band, that would also be really handy, or a stretchy strap, or even a pair of tights. Anything that resists. Please don't use a belt because that doesn't have the flexibility on it. So, and you might want a cushion as well for sitting on if that's comfy. So just getting yourself ready. I hope you guys are okay. Everyone's staying sane as this lockdown just continues. It's relentless, isn't it? So give me a thumbs up or a hi in the chat box if you're on here watching live, or even on the replay as well. Okay, so we've got a few joining us, and so it's just coming to 10 o'clock, so we'll get started. Today I'm going to show you a few simple ways that you can manage breathing difficulties during your running. So there are some causes such as being new to running and being unfit, for also if there's unnecessary movement happening and you need more energy and oxygen as a result of that. We'll put those sort of factors to one side for the moment and deal primarily with the method of breathing and whether that is causing problems in your running. So the first thing I invite you to do is to do a really short breath hold and count the number of seconds that you're able to hold your breath. And I'll explain how we do that and what the number of seconds and the score means at the end. The key thing is that with this breath hold, you let go as soon as you feel the first urge to breathe. So there's no willpower here. It is literally the first sensation you feel. It might be a desire to swallow. It might be a sort of kick in the belly area. It may be sort of a mental thing, like, oh, God, I've really had enough of this, I want to stop. The first desire, stop, okay? So just counting mentally the number of seconds in your own head, and we'll take a look at those scores at the end. This is known as the controlled pause, or a BOLT score, a body oxygen level test, okay? So all you need to do is just get yourself into a comfortable position, breathing in and out through the nose. And then when you feel ready, take a normal breath in through the nose, a normal breath out. Pinch and hold your breath. And just counting the number of seconds until you need to let go. So remembering, just let go when you feel the first urge to breathe. Breathe in through the nose. That first breath in shouldn't be chaotic or a gasp. If it is, then you've counted too far. So Jono has stepped ahead of us and is still holding his breath. Well done there. It's on the in-breath though, I'm presuming, not on the out-breath. The out-breath hold is much shorter. So don't keel over, please, while you're doing this. Okay, so we'll have a look at the score later. It's not a competition. And what we'll do now is just start to move in the body a little bit and explore our breathing. So the first thing is just to bring yourself onto your mat in a comfortable sitting position. And let's focus on where our breathing space actually is. Because a lot of the time we think about breath in the front. We talk a lot about belly breathing, but a lot of people may actually feel the breath up here, even up around the collarbones if you're feeling anxious. And actually there's a huge expanse of your lungs in the back of the body. And that's why a lot of the coronavirus patients are being put onto their front to allow an easier breath through that big space in the back and the back ribs. So think about the breath being this bigger space is quite an interesting concept to help you with your breathing. The next thing is to sort of just move away from the belly breathing a little bit. And if you do have a stretchy strap, I invite you to put that strap around the chest so that it is just catching the last few ribs as it goes round, and maybe tie a little knot in the back just so you can free your hands. If you don't have a strap, just find the lowest 2 ribs and pop your hands there. So when we talk about deep breathing and diaphragmatic breathing, we can check whether that's happening by an expansion and contraction in these lower 2 ribs. I invite you to move away from the belly breathing, because unfortunately what that has led to is a lot of people pushing their belly out when they breathe to try and get diaphragmatic breathing. And actually that is not good for the system. It puts pressure on the pelvic floor, and it's not necessarily giving you the right healthy way of breathing. So think about the breath expanding on the inhale and contracting, feeling that movement in the lower 2 ribs. So when we breathe, we are using this whole space, but we want to feel that the diaphragm is driving the breath, and therefore there's the expansion can be felt down here, but is actually filling the whole of the space of the lungs, front and back. Okay, so let's release that strap. Okay, so let's open up the sides of the rib cage to begin with. So just popping one of your hands down, take a breath in, reach the top arm up and over, and just start to bend into that bottom hand, perhaps taking your gaze up towards the ceiling until you feel that you're stretching from the hip all the way up through the armpit, through that top arm, and feeling that opening of the rib cage on that top side. So when we sit in office chairs or in the car, quite often this whole breathing area gets constricted and squashed. So what we're trying to do here initially is create space and create a bit of flexibility in these muscles in between the ribs and up and around the shoulders. Okay, so if you just pause there and notice whether that side feels longer, feels more open. And then we'll do the same over to the other side. To keep the breath flowing, opening up the rib cage. And then coming up and over. Okay, so hopefully there's some openness here. So we're just going to gently twist through the spine now. That twisting movement can help to release the diaphragm if that is feeling a little bit tight. So coming over to the other side as well. And coming back. And the other way that can be quite nice to just release a diaphragm that has got a little bit tight is to take a really big exhale, breathing out as much as you can, perhaps counting numbers out until you get to absolutely cannot push any more out, pause, and then breathe back in through the nose. So I'll just show you that and you can have a go yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then I'm breathing in. Okay, so I'm just exhaling, 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 exhaling. What will happen at the end is you'll feel that the whole of the belly button area will draw in. Just pause and then release and breathe in. And for some people that can just help loosen the diaphragm if it hasn't been working quite so well. Okay. So the next movement we can do is coming onto hands and knees. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then as you breathe in, we're tilting the tailbone up, belly button drops down towards the ground, gaze is just slightly ahead. And then as you breathe out, we're arching the spine, chin to chest. And then moving in between those two positions as you breathe. So exhaling, arching up like a cat towards the ceiling. And breathing in, coming back the opposite way. Okay, so one more in and out breath. And come back to a straight spine back in the centre. Now imagine that you have a little tail, like a puppy at the back, and you're turning to try and look to your tail. So again, this is just creating a little bit of a side bend on one side, and then we can try to look to our tail on the other side. And then back to the centre. So with the knees wide, big toes together, just resting down into a child's pose with the bottom down towards the heels. If that's not going to work for you, you can always pop a cushion under there for some support. Rest your forehead down on the ground or on a cushion. And then bring your awareness to your breath in the back. So feeling that there is this expanse of breath, an expansion on each in-breath of the back ribs, and a relaxation as you breathe out. And then when you're ready, just prop yourself up onto your forearms. So the next movement we're going to do is just a little flow where we are playing around with the breath hold again. So I'll just show you the whole sequence to begin with. So what we're going to do is from this position, we're going to take a breath in and flow forwards, keeping the chest as low to the ground as possible. This creates a nice back bend. And then breathing out, arching the back, chin to chest, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out. And then when you get to the bottom, hold the breath out and rest there until you feel the desire to breathe again. And when that desire comes in, breathing in and breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out. Resting down, pause, hold the breath out. And again, breathing in. So just continue that breathing or holding your breath as long as feels comfortable for you. So again, this is not a competition. It's not how long can I hold my breath. It's an exploration of how it feels when you hold your breath. And if you are pregnant, I would say to keep that to a tiny pause. Don't really hold your breath at all. And for everyone else, it is a case of just sensing what feels right for you, what comes into your mind. It's all about this sort of awareness. So doing one more of those flows. And then when you're ready, bringing yourself back up to all fours. And then we're going to come back to either sit on the knees or cross-legged. So a little bit of work to open up the upper part of the chest now. So first of all, taking your hands behind your head, just clasping the hands together. And what we're going to do is take a breath in and push those elbows back as much as you can. Look up towards the ceiling. And then as you breathe out to the opposite way, drawing elbows together and chin to chest. So breathing in, breathing out, still through the nose. And we'll do one more. And then relax. Give those arms a little bit of a shake. So that helps to open up if this area around the pecs feels tight, if the area around the shoulder blades feels tight. And what we'll do next is a little bit of stretching work for the lateral, the sides here. So all we need to do is just take the hands together and take a breath in and reach the elbows up towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, fold the elbows back and bring the palms together. So breathing in, the palms split, elbows up towards the ceiling, and breathing out, bringing the elbows down towards the ground. So just make this our last one and releasing down. Again, just shaking out the arms. So the last one for the shoulders, again, using your strap, your stretchy material, your tights, whatever you've got to hand, is sitting in cross-legged. If you grab your strap so that your hands are just to the outside of your knees, that's generally a good starting place. And what we're going to do is take a breath in, reach the strap to overhead, and then as you breathe out, drawing the shoulder blades together onto your back, see if you can take the strap backwards. Doesn't have to be all the way down to the floor, whatever feels good. And then breathing in, we're coming back up, and breathing out, back to the starting position. And again, adjust. If it felt too stretchy, bring your hands in. If it felt too tight, give yourself a little bit more room. So breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, so drawing the shoulder blades together. Breathing in to come back up and breathing out, coming forwards. So just move to your own breathing rhythm. Okay, so just doing one more. And then giving the arms a shake, a little bit of mobility for the shoulders. So what we've done through those sequence of movements is to check in with the breath around the diaphragm, feeling and opening up around the rib cage, the upper chest, the shoulders, awareness of the breath in the back. So those are all really nice warm-ups that you could do before you go running to just give yourself that physical and mental sensation that you have got the space to breathe. The next advice I would give you is to start breathing during your runs with the nose breath as much as you can. Now, if we've got folks online who suffer from things like exercise-induced asthma, rhinitis, so stuffy, congested nose a lot of the time, even hay fever, all of those things can be managed and controlled really well through nose breathing when you're out and about, and that includes physical exercise. Now, when you first start doing this, it does feel quite challenging. And the reason for that is that our body is reacting to carbon dioxide as it builds up in the body. And when we did that score, the little test at the beginning of the session, what that was telling you was how sensitive your body is to carbon dioxide. So does anybody want to share the score that they came up with and the number of seconds on the screen? Jono, you've been posting loads. What was your Bolt score? How many seconds did you hold your breath on your exhale? Anyone want to share? So generally, if your number of seconds that you can hold your breath out is less than 15, I would say that you probably are getting out of breath during your running. You may get anxiety quite a lot during the day. You may experience nasal congestion. These are all indications that your body is currently quite sensitive to carbon dioxide, and therefore you are breathing more than you need to in terms of keeping the airways open, including the nose and the chest. If your breath hold score was between 15 and 25, there's definitely room for improvement in making the breathing feel easier on your runs. And through my social media and courses, I've got lots of exercises that you can do daily, which will help to bump up this score to improve your body's tolerance of this need to breathe heavy. The idea being that as your score improves, you're able to push that point of breathlessness further and further away. Okay, so 11-minute Bolt score. Amazing. You should try and go for a world record, John. So some of you may not know, but I was a competitive freediver for a few years, so I know a lot about breath holding. The training that I did was primarily this carbon dioxide training, which is about boosting your tolerance to breathlessness, essentially. So that's where a lot of my experience comes from, and it's bang on, really useful information for any sports folk, particularly runners who are out there a lot at the moment during hay fever season and the humidity potentially can also affect your lungs when you're breathing in and out through the mouth. Okay, so if you are experiencing congestion and you're saying, well, I can't breathe through the nose because I'm blocked up, I've got a short exercise to show you. So get yourself comfortable. This is known as the nose unblocking exercise. It's also fantastic for generating mental focus and also helping with anxiety. So it's a multitasking exercise, super, super simple. Again, if you're pregnant, keep the breath hold really short or just don't do the breath hold, just focus on the conscious breathing. The breath holds are between 2 and 5 seconds. So I'm going to count it out as 5 seconds, but if that's too long for you, just cut it shorter, okay? So all it is a series of very short breath holds with nose breathing in between, okay? So just get yourself comfy, focus on breathing in and out through the nose. And then take a normal breath in through the nose, a normal breath out. Pinch and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release and breathe in. Normal breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Pinch and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, breathe in. Breathing in, breathing out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, breathe in. Breathing in, breathing out. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, breathe in. So we'll just do one more. Breathing in, breathing out. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release and breathe in. So keep that breath flow going through the nose. So you may have already experienced a sense of clearness in the nose if you did have a bit of mucus up there. If you didn't immediately, sometimes it takes a few minutes of that to kick in, but it really, really does work. It basically acts like a decongestant without needing to use the spray. The science behind it is that when you breathe in and out through your nose and you hold your nose, nitric oxide, which is a gas, is produced within the nasal cavity, and that helps to open up the airways, and it also helps for better oxygen exchange in the lungs. And that's one reason why nitric oxide is being used on coronavirus patients as well. So they're being delivered it by gas from external, but actually it's exactly the same compound that is being produced naturally when we nose breathe and we hold our breath. So really useful little biological hacks here for helping clear your nose. Fantastic for those of you who are suffering with hay fever. And obviously if you're out running, the more you can breathe through your nose, the more likely that the pollen will get picked up by the little hairs and mucus in the nose and not get into the body. You can also rinse out the nose with a saline wash to help clear any germs and pollen out of the nose as well. So I hope that was useful for you. A few breathing exercises, a few exercises to open up through the chest. So just to finish, I'm going to invite you to just sit quietly for a few moments, lean up against a wall or sit on a chair if you need that support. And just drop the eyelids. Connect again once more to your breath. And one of the most important phrases and quotes that I learned through my yoga practice. And what really is the key to yoga is that what we're trying to do in yoga is still the mind. And the best way to still the mind is to still the breath. So through slow breathing and exploring the pauses in between each of your breaths, we can help to slow down those fluctuations of thoughts in the mind, of emotions. So just taking a moment of gratitude to yourself for taking this time out to rest, to focus on your breathing, to stretch. A big smile inside for yourself. And then when you're ready, taking that smile outside, opening your eyes and coming back to our little virtual yoga room. So thank you very much everyone for joining us. I really hope that I've given you some food for thought and some practical techniques for your breathing. I'm more than happy to answer questions about breathing. It's one of my big passions. And I've got lots of resources on my social media, on my website. I'm going to host another one of my free challenges quite soon, where we can challenge each other to do things like nose breathe running, etc, etc. So do post comments, questions. I know nose breathe running came up quite recently in one of the Twitter chats, so it's definitely something that people are thinking about and talking about. So I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you very much for joining us. Namaste. And I hope to see you very soon. Take care. Bye.